Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're talking about another episode of Dueling Book Commentary. We missed yesterday's thing because we were sleeping for the regional. They got canceled today. We have exclamation points taking on Crown the Kings. Crown the Kings has 787 rating, 386 experience. Exclamation points has 1014 rating and 3506 experience. So exclamation points probably on a bit of a down slope. Probably not doing so well the last few duels. Probably bricked like he did here. And Crown the King's doing it pretty good. I mean, look at the rating difference. It's actually quite insane. But we see the Cosmic Cyclone banishing the Trickstar Reincarnation, not chaining Trickstar Reincarnation, interestingly enough, to that. No shame, I guess. But we do see a Foolish Burial, sending Supreme King, Dragon, Darkworm, and getting back to the regional. The Garden City regional that was meant to happen today didn't happen due to a malfunction in the ceiling. And I didn't know that, of course, until I read a Reddit post when I got back home. So I drove all the way to Garden City and drove all the way back. So it was an interesting morning, to say the very least. Spent the entirety of it driving. But anyway, we see a Purple Poison normal summoned next to the Dark Worm. Electromite summoned on top of that. Crown the Kings is debating whether or not he's going to activate the effect to place, that was the official wording, add a pendulum monster from his deck to his face up as an extra deck, and there's a lot of really good things you can do about that. This deck brings up an interesting deck, Pendulum Magician FTK. This was a deck I actually faced at my locals a couple days ago. It's a fairly strong deck, to say the very least. So we're going to see the Astrograph Sorcerer go to face up in the extra deck, and Electromite be destroyed. In the FTK, the main difference between regular Pen Magicians and the FTK Pen Magicians is you run the Bad Supreme King Gate, and you run Instant Fusion, and so that allows for this. This has an effect where if you have the Bad Supreme King Gate in the other scale, you can destroy these, search a fusion spell, search Instant Fusion. You activate Instant Fusion. Is this a main deck Typhoon? We saw. I'm pretty sure this probably okay. It's probably been side decked in, but that's all right. I'm not really quite sure who won game one. I just don't see Typhoon main deck. That'd be pretty crazy. But anyway, Typhoon does come down on the Supreme King Gate 0. So even though exclamation points only set a card and pass, still 2 hand traps in his hand, 2 forms of disruption, not too terrible. And Crown the Kings with no extra deck monster is only going to be able to pendulum summon 1 card from the extra deck if he is able to complete the skill, which he was not. We see a Candina normal summoned. Wouldn't be surprised to see an Effect Veiler get dropped on that. Also Ash Blossom. Ghost Ogre is an interesting one. And the reason I'm not a super big fan of Ghost Ogre there is because, excuse me, Licorice can be chained to Candina, or Licorice can be chained to Ghost Ogre. So you summon Candina, attempt to destroy it with Ghost Ogre, they chain with Licorice, summon Licorice, and Ghost Ogre gets no value. But in that case, it wasn't super terrible. That being said, we see a set card in passing. I thought it was a reincarnation. It was actually the Twin Twisters, and Twin Twisters is going to go ahead and pop Astrograph Sorcerer and Harmonizing Magician. So unless Crown of the Kings has another Astrograph Sorcerer in his hand, or the new Sorcerer card that just came out, nothing really is going to happen. But Astrograph Sorcerer does get dropped, Harmonizing Magician gets searched, so clean 2500 is going to come down to exclamation points, unless he uses reincarnation to summon the Candina, which doesn't sound super great. I certainly wouldn't have done it, as did not exclamation points. Eater of the Millions is special summons, banishing, I'm assuming 5 cards from the extra deck. You can banish hand, field, and or extra deck. So Eater of the Millions doesn't necessarily need anything more than that. He's going to attack Astrograph Sorcerer, nothing else is going to happen. The reason I bring that up is because Reincarnation could have been activated, summoning the Candina and doing some 1800 damage. that's about it. Keep in mind, Candina does have the burn effect as well. It was every Trickstar has the burn effect. Wisdom Eye is activated in the scale next to Harmonizer. So we top decked Wisdom Eye, which is a really strong top deck for Crown the Kings. Now, what necessarily can he Pendulum Summon? Well, now he can Pendulum Summon because he did go get that Oath Dragon. He can Pendulum Summon any monster in his extra deck, and he can also go get one. So that can maybe get into a Baguska, a Castel if he's running Castel, Tornado Dragon. Offhand, trying to think if there's any more. He can Crash. Purple Poison, that actually won't work because Purple Poison will just be banish face down. Yes, Crown of the Kings is attempting to add Astrograph Sorcerer with Oath Dragon. Oath Dragon can only add Pen Magicians. Harmonized Magician is a pretty strong one to add because you can't be Pendulum Summon from the extra deck. Or she can't be Special Summon from the extra deck. So even if you could Special Summon her another way from the extra deck, you couldn't. If that makes sense. So there's the Supreme King Synchro, who's pretty strong. If the Supreme King Synchro monster battles Eater of Millions, the person with priority gets to activate their effect first. So Eater of Millions would be destroyed. I believe that's how that interaction would go down. It could be that both interactions take place as well. But most certainly the card's not banished before attacking Eater of Millions. But we're going to see a fusion summon, a link summon actually come down as comes down the Electromite. Not sure what the set card is for exclamation points, but Electromite's going to add a card from the deck to face up in the extra deck, and now we're going to see the advantage of Electromite take place. Black Fang gets added. Now he's going to destroy the Oath Dragon. Add Astrograph Sorcerer to his hand and special summon Astrograph Sorcerer per his effect. And add an Oath Dragon with Astrograph Sorcerer's effect. And then draw a card on top of Electromite. You know, that's that was his third effect, and that's just really strong. Purple Poison is banished per Harmonized Magician's effect. Supreme King Starving Venom Dragon is summoned. He's going to attempt to copy Eater of Millions and just crash, interestingly enough. So both effects do go through. Both monsters are going to be banished face down. And exclamation points is trying to explain how Eater of Millions works in a very trollish way, in my opinion, but ain't no shame in that. 1800 attack from Electromite. And thanks to Heavy Metaphors Electromite, Crown the Kings is in a fairly strong driving seat position in this duel. Scapegoat is activated. So that's going to allow exclamation points to do a lot of pretty strong things in this situation. Now we do know that Oath Dragon is one of the cards of Crown the King's hands. Not sure what the other card is. Ash Blossom would actually be pretty strong if he was in that situation, but it's not. Soul Light Stage is going to be activated, and it's going to go through and search a Trickstar Candina. There's sticky root beer on my desk. And we see a Link Summon of Mrs. Radiant, which will then turn into a Link Summon of either a Link Karibo or a Link Spider. I guess M-Dunk's possible as well. Link Karibo does come down. Candina is normal summon, searching most likely potentially Licorice, potentially Lilybell as well. Lilybell wouldn't be terrible. I doubt it'd be a reincarnation. Licorice does get added. Maybe Link Rebo only has 300 attack. Feels like it's really small. But we see a Scapegoat token and Trickstar Candina being used. Potentially for a Proxy Dragon. Also for Ib. Ib is a definite possibility. We see the Mrs. Radiant and Link Karibo will turn into a monster as well. Will turn into Ningrisu, and that'll allow exclamation points to draw a card. So Ningrisu, what is it? The World Chalice Warrior, and Ib, the World Chalice Priestess, showing that they can be played in other decks and rather well. But the draw effect in Ningrisu's kit's pretty strong as well. But we're going to see Trickstar Light Sage being sent. 1800 and 2500 going in clean. Reincarnation is going to be banished to special summon Licorice, and that's actually going to be game, or special summon Candina. And Candina is going to be returned to the hand off of Licorice's effect. And so, kind of a bit of a steal there for Trickstars. But you know, the Scapegoat doing what it did. The Scapegoat got him into the Mrs. Radiant, Link Karibo, and Link materials from there on out. And it just, you know, it just turned out that he was able to get Ningrisu, get rid of the Electromite, and win the duel from there. It's unfortunate for Crown of the Kings that he didn't draw a hand trap off of Electromite's third effect, but that's just how it is sometimes. I was really hoping that the loser of that duel was the winner of game one, so we were going to be able to see at least 2 games in this situation. I'm not really quite sure how the first duel went, but if I'm able to catch the second game, if I'm able to catch the second game at the start, I'm definitely willing to take a look at it. But I do try to get all 3 games for Dueling Book commentary. But these kind of there's 2 better duelists for Dueling Book. As you can tell here, playing Pen Magicians versus Trickstars, very meta-relevant matchup, and just kind of getting it in. That's what we're doing here. As we see a Foolish Burial for most likely Supreme King Dragon Darkworm, and it's going to be special summoned. Supreme King Dragon is just a nice little card. I mean, once per turn, you can search a Supreme King Gate, place in your pen zone. It has effect if it's normal special summoned. Excuse me, so this is just for a dark level 4 pendulum monster. Scale's 5, it's not super great, but you know, it's not 4. You know, 4 is clearly the worst scale possible. So this was the exact same opening Crown of the Kings had earlier. I believe it was Foolish Burial for Supreme King Dragon Darkworm, normal summon Purple Poison, summon Heavy Metaphors Electromite. It got Ghost Ogred actually last time as well. The only major difference actually was exclamation points went first last duel, and it may not seem like that because he didn't really do anything, but he did do enough. Not sure what happened here. I don't think Crown of the Kings saw that his Electromite got Ghost Ogred, and so he popped the Harmonizing Magician anyway. It's the only thing I can think of. Unless, was Harmonizing in the scale or did it go straight there? I'm pretty sure it went straight there. Yeah, it was added. Never mind. Excuse me. We see Pendulum Call being activated, pitching Supreme Gate 0. So we haven't seen Supreme King Gate Infinity. You need Infinity, obviously, to be able to pop Infinity and search Instant Fusion. So I don't think we're seeing Pendulum Magician FTK. It's not what I'm going to put in the title. This is just straight Pendulum Magicians, and I think that in almost every circumstance, if there's a deck version of a deck and then a FTK version of the deck, in most cases the FTK version is just not going to be as consistent. But you look at the FTK, other than Supreme King Infinity, you don't really run bad cards. I mean, you could think to yourself, Pen Magicians don't use too much of their extra deck space, so you could actually even run other targets for Instant Fusion. You could run Thousand Eyes Restrict and Link Karibo, take an opponent's monster, and essentially use it for Link material, thanks to Restrict's effect. And there was all the new Restrict support cards that came out just as well. I don't know if those would do anything in the deck, but but the FTK version of Pen Magicians really isn't super terrible. I do think personally that the regular version of Pen Magicians is just better. I think that any gimmicky version, I remember when it was kind of similar to Extra Deck Monarchs and Domain Monarchs. When Domain Monarchs was a thing and Extra Deck Monarchs was a thing, I always thought Domain Monarchs was better because that's just how the deck was meant to function. But anyway, we see Darkworm, Pendulum Summon from the extra deck. Harmonizing Magician and Wisdom Eye Magician coming down from the hand. Harmonizing Magician is going to special summon Wisdom Eye Magician, which is interesting. That tells me that Crown of the Kings might only be running one Black Fang Magician, because usually Black Fang is the one that people are okay with losing to what's happening to Wisdom Eye right now. He's getting banished. My thing is, like, I always pick Black Fang because I'm totally okay with losing a Black Fang Magician. You look at Purple Poison, he's just a little bit better. Double Iris when he was legal, a little bit better. Wisdom Eye significantly better in my opinion. So I was surprised to see that. But heavy Metaphors Electromite is Link summoned. I'm pretty sure this effect is the only one that's a hard once per turn. What I mean by that is, let's say exclamation points waited to Ghost Ogre Crown the Kings until his second heavy Metaphors Electromite activated his second effect. That would mean that he would get the monster from his deck to his extra deck. He would get the target to add from the extra deck, and Electromite would be destroyed. And then when this Electromite came down, he would still be able to do the add from deck to extra deck and destroy a card and add a face-up card and then draw a card. But we see main phase skipped to the battle phase, and now we're in the end step of the battle phase, the end of the battle phase, which allows evenly matched to be activated, and since exclamation points controls no cards, they are going to be banished, and now we see an instant fusion activated. So this is it's a spicy one. I don't think I've seen instant fusion. We see Millennium Eyes Restrict, legal for 1 day, and here it is. Once per turn, an opponent's monster activates the monster effect. You can target one effect monster your opponent controls or in the graveyard, equipped it to this target. So that's pretty strong. Tornado Dragon, because it's a quick effect. If he attempts to destroy anything, Millennium Eyes Restrict's just going to take it. This card gains attack. Even though that monsters with that equipped name cannot attack. So that's pretty decent. That's like that final effect's also pretty strong. Just kind of a better version of Thousand Eyes Restrict, to be honest. That being said, Ash Blossom is able to negate the Trickstar Light Stage. That being said, Ash Blossom will be taken by Millennium Eyes Restrict. It doesn't negate its effects though. So I'm not really quite sure why he did that. Yes. Okay, so the ruling here, I believe, in exclamation points eyes. The ruling here in exclamation points eyes is that restricts full effect takes place. So what happened is Ash Blossom attempted to negate Pot of Desires after Pot of Desires was activated. Restrict was chained to that, taking Ash Blossom, and when the effect when Ash attempted to resolve, Chain Link 2. Chain Link 2, Ash is taken, Restrict negates the Ash, Tornado Dragon attempted to chain to that to destroy Light Stage, Chalice was chained to Tornado Dragon, and Tornado Dragon's effect was negated. Excuse me, I was trying to figure out what all had happened just now, because Candina, I believe, was normal somewhat on top of that. I didn't really think the duel was necessarily speaking over. I don't really see how exclamation points is going to be getting over that Tornado Dragon, unless he has Needle of Millions in his hand. I'm not really quite sure, especially considering the Tornado Dragon did have extra attack. Yeah, I'm not really quite sure why he quit so easily. Candina is going to be able to search a Licorice or maybe a Lilybell or a Reincarnation, and that could definitely be problematic for Crown the Kings. But, if you have the biggest monster on the field, you certainly shouldn't be quitting. But I'm not in Crown the King's head. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Click that like button to show your support to this channel. Make sure you click that subscribe for even more Yu-Gi-Oh content. Most importantly, guys, have a good day.
And I know she'll be the death of me, at least we'll both be numb. And she'll always get the best of me.